sorry.
Dealing with chambers.
Okay? Now, did you get the gist of that at all?
So, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, South Carolina,
This is
or
contract.
that they're acting as the administrators for any other Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Sort of. Yes. Right direction. Okay? First piece. You got to treat patients of Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina, right? Who else do you have to treat?
Every other Blue Cross patient.
Any other Blue Cross patient who crosses your threshold, right?
Right.
There's this National Blue plan, Blue Card plan, right? And what this is saying is you got to treat any Blue Cross patient for the fees that you agreed to under this.
Are you going to be
Even though those other plans aren't a part of this contract.
They're kind of out of network or not.
They're saying you're automatically in network. And in fact, I'll tell you what else is buried in here, and I don't have time to do this whole thing with you, is you agree to be in network, and Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina can contract with any other insurance plan in the country to require you to see their patients for what you've agreed to be paid for in here. Ever heard of a rental network? You've not heard of a rental network. You agree with these guys, they can rent you out anywhere, anytime. Okay, you have now become a rental network physician. And my guess is 99% of folks who sign them don't know that.
So even independents might be paid twice what South Carolina Blue Cross and Blue Shield,
Well, probably half, but yeah,
or half.
right? Yeah,
So I can
You're
see,
getting what South Carolina.
that's correct. That's correct.
I can always see something, you don't have to worry about that, or just this stuff, you know what, you're part of this group here. I mean, that could easily happen.
Okay. Written contracts, oral contracts, implied contracts. Written's easy, right? You can see. Oral contracts, you can agree with somebody. Implied contracts? Heard of it? Example?
I just, for example, from where I work, is that it's implied that I will send out certificates, even though it's not part of the contract.
Okay, that works. Okay, an implied contract is you tell a painter, if you take my house, I'll pay you $5,000. Okay, so he goes and paints the house, you owe him $5,000. It may not be written, it's not even an oral contract, right? He performed it by doing what you said. So that's an implied contract. I only put it out to say that this stuff is not necessarily all that simple. Offer and acceptance, forms a contract, there has to be something of value, doesn't have to be much. Some things do have to be in writing. You can't have an oral agreement to sell your house. That has to be in writing. More important, the writing subsumes all prior agreements. So suppose you get the Blue Cross rep to you and they say, hey, we like you a lot, we're going to pay you 120% of the fee schedule. And you say, fine, and you sign this agreement. That promise doesn't mean anything. This agreement says you get paid the fee schedule amount. So if you've got advertising and offers and all the other kind of stuff you're dealing with, like when you go to buy the car, you know, they say all this kind of stuff. What's in the contract governs it. It's at odds with what they told you before, you're out of luck. Put another way, if you've got offer sheets, if you have representations by somebody, make them put it in as an exhibit to the contract. Okay? Yes, and make sure any amendments to your contracts are in writing. Oral amendments to your contracts are problems. There are conditions to contracts. There are conditions precedent. If they're met, the contract gets formed. there are conditions subsequent, actually the conditions contract too, they're rare. And there's conditions subsequent that say if certain things happen, the contract is null and void. And sometimes when doctors work with NPs, I've had this happen to me at least 4 times. You know, things start to go wrong. Next thing you know, the doctor terminates the contract and they owe you 3 months. And they never pay. And they try to claim that something happened and the contract went away. Condition subsequent. Go to small claims court.
So you can threaten us too long.
Huh?
I said sometimes you don't have to take them, sometimes
Yeah.
it's threatening you so long.
Yep. The contract term should be specified. You say you have a mutual walkaway. I wonder whether it's really a contract, but okay. The one to be really aware of is what I call the automatic renewal. You get a lot of these with, when you rent places too. Stuff automatically renews unless you give them 30 days or 60 days written notice and you forget. And next thing you know, you're at the end and it's automatically renewed and you forgot. Okay. You may walk away from any personal services contract. Who said you couldn't get out of the contract in Pennsylvania? You can walk away from any personal services contract. Your employment contract. Okay? The 13th Amendment against slavery says they can't make you stay on. Now, you may have to pay damages if you walk away. Most important, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, maybe now, do you have a non-compete in your contract?
Yeah.
Who said yes? How far, how long?
I think it was for 2 years within I think it was a 15-mile radius.
15? That means legal muster.
Mine is 2 years, and I have to look, I think mine's 30 miles.
I think that may be violative. 25 is, it can be a little more, a little less, but 2 years is the most, and I say 25 is a cut.
Mine's weird, mine's counties.
That, they may or may not be able to support that.
I'm not sure that they can enforce that
Yeah, I
actually, because technically, I drive an hour to work, and so they knock out pretty much every county in between, and I think if I took them out, it would be a hardship, that I can't legally get employment in any area surrounding. But it's like 4 surrounding counties, basically, which technically could be
That's
a
pretty
large
big.
radius.
How about transfer is the same? It's like, for example, I'm trying to get a transfer from Glycerin down to Mount in the state court. But I'm not sure if that will go because.
Well, but you're gonna stay within Geisel. So make sure they say that's okay, but that's not competing.
So would it be like 25 miles from Danville, their home quarters, or 25 miles from that maybe she has the lead?
Well, see, that's the problem.
Depends on what your contract
It
says.
better be 25 miles from Danville, otherwise it's broader than 25 miles, and it will be illegal.
My old contract said it
Yeah.
was 20 miles from any place where I had seen patients.
What? Well, that's a good point, because that's.
That may work.
Yeah, my
That
old
may be
contract
enforceable.
was 20 miles from any place I had seen patients.
That may be enforceable.
But they would have to say that, right? Because I wonder in
Yeah.
mine, because that
Yeah.
hospital is 22 miles from where my office is.
That's why they did it. They want to make sure that if you quit, you can't deal with patients in the hospital. How bad? What are they trying to do? They're trying to keep you from going into practice on your own.
One of the places that I worked for was a management firm, anesthesia management firm, and they, in their contract, I think they had like a 25, I think it might have been 50 miles, I don't know, 2 years. And then it also said, and you could not go work for any other party that we had interest in. Now, we weren't formally told if they were gonna,
Who,
like,
right?
who told us, like, I knew that they were looking at a place that was 25 miles from us, but we knew that just from hearsay, not from them actually telling us. So then what if I wanted to leave and go to that place? Like, what would that be? I mean, they wouldn't be able to
Ever heard of an adhesion contract?
A what one?
Adhesion. One-sided. Go ahead. An adhesion contract is one that's really in favor of one party over the other, and that has harsh terms to it. Huh? Did you say Geisinger?
Because they didn't ask us anything, because they all said.
Well, okay, here. Responsibilities of Blue Cross. There are 7 of them. Okay? Pay the provider. Assure the provider will get direct reimbursement. Establish procedures where all members can be appropriately identified by the provider. Provide providers a list of all preferred providers. Review the fee schedules annually. It doesn't say about changing them, it says review. Okay? Give you a list of members and provide a mechanism to get a patient from you to another doctor. How about your responsibility? Well,
Yeah, that's 7 more.
there are 35 of them. Okay? In fact, you want a couple? Not bill Blue Cross Blue Shield or the member for any charges for services rendered when medical necessity is disputed. How about no balance billing? You know what a balance bill is? Well, let's see. For your normal visit, you charge $100. Blue Cross pays $40. Can you bill the patient to $60?
No.
If you can balance bill, you can bill them to $60. They say you cannot bill them to $60. Okay? There's more. Okay? Not bill Blue Cross or member separately for an item or service considered by Blue Cross to be an integral part of another item or service.
Oh, I run into that all the time.
What that?
Like you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
We
What do you call it?
bandages, casting, things
Yeah,
like
but the
that.
billing part, what do you call it? Bundling?
Yeah.
Do they bundle you?
Hospital calls it bundling.
Yeah.
We can bill for either a visit or a bandage, but not all. And that's
Correct.
just the last few years we've had that problem.
Correct.
And you can't choose which one you want to bill for.
If you do orthopedic
bandage, it's
surgery,
bandage.
and you operate on both knees,
Get paid for.
you get paid 100% for the one and 50% for the other.
That's why.
That's why the one that I was trying to discourage people from doing one.
And if you do the ACL and fix the meniscus, you don't get paid for the meniscus. Yeah,
So how long do you have to wait in between needs to get paid for both?
I don't know, that's a good question.
There's a global
Yes.
period that you have to wait.
Yes.
Depends on what, exactly what procedure it is different from.
Yes.
So that's why they put in there the possibility of doing this.
Right.
It covers them.
Right. Well, and then there's, you bill for a 99214, and they pay you for a 99213. What did I just say?
Does that work for like angioplasties too?
I'm sorry?
Does that work for angioplasties?
Yes.
Somebody only do one vessel at a time?
Correct.
Yeah, you just get.
I didn't
you
know
get
Yes.
that.
This is
one
what,
shot.
this is what I have a problem with. Like these patients that are, say, Selinsgrove Center patients, it's a state home for these mentally retarded people, that they'll come in, 1 week they'll have their colonoscopy, they'll bring them back, a few weeks later they'll have their upper endoscopy, a few weeks later they'll come in, they'll have their teeth done, and like for the colonoscopy EGD, why are you gonna do them both at the same time? Because number one, this patient is already high risk based on their status, their physical, their mental status, everything. Then when something goes wrong, then we're the first people at fault, but yet it's our tax dollars that are paying for them, but yet even the surgeons take part in this too. But the surgeons are actually doing so they get double paid. And then they wonder why their malpractice is going up. I mean, because we're taking risks with these already at-risk patients. You know, that just bothers me.
This contract also says they can do a recovery audit on you.
I had that happen to me. What?
Tell us.
They took money back, but they
How
paid
much?
us. Oh, a couple thousand.
Yeah, a couple thousand, right? Out of, right?
Medicare just did that too, they did their back.
I couldn't believe it.
Correct.
I couldn't believe it. I was so angry.
What did they do? Describe it.
I got a letter,
Yep.
and then I got a letter saying, sorry, we're taking my back, it's out.
Did they ask for medical records?
Yes.
So what they do is, and they can go back, how long back was it?
A year and a half.
You were in good shape. They can go back 10 years.
Well, I don't even open it that way, maybe 3 years.
Okay?
I don't know how long my.
I've heard stories going back, they ask you for medical records going back 10 years.
I don't
If you
understand.
can't produce medical records that support the billing, they say to you, we're going to take the money back. Or they say, write us a check or we'll offset what we pay you, right, for the next, right? They tell you you could appeal.
They did that in our
I
office.
believe we could. I believe we could try to prove it, because I wanted to,
Which carrier?
independent health.
Okay.
But I did.
Most of them don't tell you
I
you
don't
can
think
appeal.
my company did. I don't think they did.
Most
I
of
was really irritated.
95% of the time people don't appeal.
They did that in our office, and our medical records people said, hey, listen, can you let out review of systems here? Can you go back and document a review of systems? Can you go, you left out a social history? I mean, I was okay, but there were stacks of charts in people's bins saying, you
Yep.
know, you left out a social history, you left out a family history, and we built this as a 54, and you know. it's-
I've heard stories of them showing up at offices unannounced, asking for medical records.
Yeah, they,
In that instant, like after listening to everybody, I think Lyson does a good job. They don't bundle it. They will do the best for education that comes over. And they actually even, I don't think they will wait if the surgery is required. They'll admit the patient and get the surgery done.
Why you guys think you're different?
I don't know, like I think
The
the care is
insurance
very.
company, the hospital, and the doctors are all part of the same entity. So there's no incentive to play this game.
That,
So you're lucky that way.
yeah, it's very nice. And they actually back us up. When we are billing, there is somebody who checks and says, oh, you missed something, so we need to go back and make it right. That is also good.
So do you think this is an adhesion contract? It's adhesion, it's one-sided. How can they get away with it?
You can't see anything from nothing.
Because they're monopolists, right? They do this because they can. They make the rules. And for you, it's take it or leave it. Okay, so here's some common adhesion contract terms that, yeah, we always call it read them and weep. All products clauses. Ever heard of it? An all products clause says that you sign this agreement to be part of the network. You provide care, whether it's their PPO product, or an HMO product, or a Medicare Advantage product, or some product that they haven't yet designed. And you agree to take care of that for whatever reimbursement they impose at the time that you deal with the contract. So you're actually in advance agreeing to reimbursement amounts. Sight unseen. Most favored nations clauses, there's one of those in here. Most favored nations clause says, and it's most common with Blue Cross, Independence Blue Cross has a most favored nations clause. Actually, they got rid of them with hospitals because the Department of Health said they were illegal. They're still in the physician contracts. And it basically says that Blue Cross, whatever rate you get, Blue Cross has a fee schedule, but they'll pay you unless you charge another insurer less, in which case they will pay you less. So you agree to provide care to Blue Cross patients at the lowest level that you bill for any of your patients.
Does that include cash payers?
Yes. Yes, if you're discounting,
Your cash pay patients are a deep
exactly,
What?
exactly.
If you're,
If you're discounting your cash pay patients below what you get from Medicare
They find out.
or Blue Cross, yeah,
And if you no charge to pay Medicare
Well, what
visits,
about
even
the
if
sliding
it's a
scale?
bad reason, they will nail you to the wall.
what
yeah,
about the sliding fee scale or something? Can't they, do they get around to doing that?
no. That's exactly the point. If you charge anybody lower, they're going to pay you lower. If you give sliding fee schedules, they want to pay you the lowest of any of your sliding fee schedules.
So they can't be doing Right, but I
They'll
mean,
take
at
the
the
money back.
hospital, I can't imagine that they would be billing at their lowest level of their sliding fee schedule.
No, they will pay you at the lowest level of any sliding fee schedule they can catch you at. Okay? So if you've got sliding fee schedules for people, and you're charging somebody $50 for a visit, right, and you're charging, the bill for them is 100 and they're paying 80, if they find out you're charging somebody 50, they'll come back and take the money back.
I thought that's what part of Lancaster's community hospital, I thought that's what they were known for, because they, the Amish would all go there to be cared for, and they paid cash and they got a discount. I mean, that could have been a rumor, but that's what I thought it was known for.
They don't give the Amish discounts for that reason.
Okay.
Our quick care, we have patients that come in and can't have no insurance.
Right.
And we have to code them differently. We give them a 30% discount if they're paying cash.
Yeah.
And then we code them as a level 1
Okay.
patient.
Okay.
And the fee is the same as that of a level 3 established. So,
I didn't hear this.
it's just, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm
I hear what you're
coding
doing.
stuff.
You can't do that.
I have no, I'm not the one doing it. I'm being told this is what you do. I don't know
Understand.
that. I mean, and then they come back 6 weeks later, I get this email saying you have to recode this, and I type them back, I said, I'm not recoding
No.
anything. I said, I've already recoded this one time, I'm not doing it again. So now we all get an email stating that you will all be sent an email, and and 10 of your records have been pulled, and you will be coming in and sit down with the compliance officer, and your records will be gone over.
Let me tell you.
It's true, because I work the same place.
I feel at a disadvantage because I don't know,
Right.
let's face it, they have the upper hand.
Of
They've
course.
been in this business a lot longer with the coding aspect than I have,
Of course.
so.
Be real careful.
And Steve,
What do I do?
Well, so,
I don't know what to do. I
You have
don't know.
Well, first of all, don't sign anything on the spot. Okay? If you can help.
Sign what?
Well, don't agree to recode, don't sign a memo, right? Tell them you need to think about it. Right, and then email me.
would you not agree
We gotta
that
get out of that
Boston LTF
place.
is a good idea?
I can't take it
Well,
anymore.
You're
I'm
considering
sorry,
that
but
it's
my
consistent with
study's
fraud?
done.
yeah, you
I'm
got
screwed until December.
Well,
I have to stay
see,
because I have
this
to
is
do
the
my
problem,
own
she
thing.
needs a job,
yeah, for the newer stuff.
okay? If you can stall them, okay.
Oh, I saw them for 3 months. Because
Okay.
you see, I have 2 emails, and then when I get there to work that month, and then they say, oh, by the way, that chart's been open since September. It's,
What if you told them that your professor said that you should probably not do it?
well, that would be good, except that I need the job yet, because I have to do my thing. I would really care less if they said,
Okay.
see, but if
They
they
All right.
might fire you for refusing to go
Right.
out and
No,
then
no.
we really find terms to get rid
Okay,
of me.
here's what I would do. You need the job.
They can fire me at
You
any
need the job,
cost.
right? So, here's what you say to them, and maybe even more politely than this. Look, I'm very uncomfortable with this, right? My professor, who knows about fraud and abuse stuff, says that he's worried about it. And if you tell me I have to do it, I will do it to keep my job. So please tell me I need to do this to keep my job. And you be very polite about it. Okay? At that point, they have induced you to do it. You've done it under duress. So that if anybody ever comes at you, you can say no intent.
Prove it down, that's the whole thing. They have put it in writing, they would never do that.
Chart it. Keep a memo to yourself in the drawer. All right? Just like you chart patients. In fact, do you ever do that? Write a memo to yourself?
Yeah, my mother taught me that a long time ago.
Smart lady.
She worked for Charter Camps.
Okay.
Kept logs. And
Yeah.
I keep logs.
Yeah, do you keep a log or a diary? Do you keep time records?
I do a lot of medical records, and I have, yes, I have filed, but unfortunately, some have found with what happened in my other job where I kept actually, one jump drive and on the work. They're kept 2 places.
Okay. Memo to file, I have done memos to file. I got more stories.
Send emails to me and stuff.
I know it's not a good learning environment.